So just really clean stuff out of eUnited. Don't know what else to say there. Just cleanliness was the key. Game 2, picks and bans on the way. Did you have one more thought on Game 1?
No, I think in those kind of circumstances, there really isn't a whole lot to be said. I think most people can kind of tell that one just got away from them. I still stand by the fact that Luminosity are a fine team, and they can definitely compete. They've proven that they can compete with the top spectrum. They've taken games off of some of the top teams, and whether or not they can bounce back here in game number 2, I think it starts with not letting Screammmmm get Serqet and not letting Venenu have Thoth.
Yeah, I think that's part of it. eUnited, though, with Luminosity as the first selection, going to ban out the Thoth themselves. Chang'e banned out by the blue and white. They're going to follow that up with a ban of the Xbalanque as well.
Feels like a bit of a trade-off. Well, last game, actually, Luminosity still staying true to the Chang'e ban, but it was eUnited who chose to ban Xbalanque when they were in that first pick position. Now that they're not first pick, they want to make sure that Keeks doesn't get the Thoth either, so seems pretty safe to me. I do feel as though eUnited are taking a little bit of a risk because Athena is left open, and we all know that Geno loves the player.
Yeah, I mean, he came into the league only playing Athena, and I had no concerns because he was playing well, and then he picked up other characters and continued to play well. Geno is one of the rookies that we speak less about, but has actually had a very, very good performance this year.
I think that happens, though, as a result of being a support player. It's not that we don't have anything to talk about for Geno. His improvement also since the spring split has been pretty substantial, but it's just hard to work him in there. I mean, Luminosity, not a team that manages to close out their sets every single week, and as such, you don't tend to really have too many opportunities to really bring these players to light in the way that they deserve, but I firmly believe that Geno has certainly helped make an impact on this Luminosity squad.
Yeah, same. Let me. You're right. We don't get a lot of chances to say. Let me see. Not Geno. Good support. I've liked what he's done. We did it. First half of the picks going out for LG, Athena, Artemis, and Agni. And I'm laughing, but I do mean that in earnest. Geno has been very successful.
He's going to think we're trolling.
Very impressive. Serqet, Cerberus, and Medusa on the right side for eUnited. Another Medusa pick. This character has been really, really popular. And, it's about damn time.
Everybody's having fun with her.
I like her.
I mean, some hunters tend to just go unnoticed. You get a little bit caught up in what's popping at the time. And lately, it's just been the Artemis show. She's been killing it. And no real surprises seeing Luminosity offer either. Hachiman, also another one of those highly sought-for hunters. And I think even on her has seen a little bit more play than the Medusa. But she's got decent enough lane clear. She definitely has buff secure. And not to mention, her boxing potential is very viable.
And she's got the poke. I love acid spray. It's so hard to avoid. Clears the lane and gives you the poke. I mean, I think Artemis was the queen of poke when the game came out in 2013, and I think Medusa has stolen that a little bit there.
Chiron.
You want to talk about hunters that were forgotten?
This looks like a mid lane Chiron?
Yes.
Possibly?
This is good. This is, I really expect this to be a mid lane Chiron for Venenu. He's played the mid lane Chiron before when he was a hunter. He loved the Chiron. So moving over to the mid lane, I don't think that takes it away from him. Playing the Chiron, though, it's funny. I like the Chiron as an answer to Athena, Art, and Agni. And Hunbats, even though it was selected after the fact. And Xingqian, even though it was selected after the fact. Chiron going to have a lot of cleanses on his plate.
A lot of cleanses on his plate, but it does work a little bit differently than before. After that, a bit of a buff came through to where it was making it more evident when that CC free was actually being applied. The Aphrodite also, though, on top of everything else, if this Aphrodite is able to get up and running, that's going to be so problematic for Luminosity because I'm not sure that they have anybody to really keep her in check. This is a very solid front line, I think, between the Cerberus and the Aphrodite, and I'm fully expecting this to be a more tanky Aphrodite.
Yeah, this is going to be... When Aphrodite first came on the scene, we saw it was the Zalia build, where it's full tank, and then a Soul Reaver, maybe a Rod of Asclepius. And what she does is she hooks up with the Serqet, Serqet blinks, taunts, and then you get the back off, and the target's usually already dead with the Soul Reaver proc. But if not, you have an entire Serqet kit. So certainly a combination to look out for. eUnited going to be leaning on that one. LG, they've got control all over the place. Let's take a look if they're able to do it. It's Finch with Finch.
Thank you, Tom. Getting further and further away from knowing who we are as we move into game 2. Tolly, as is your name. What do you think about these 2 drafts?
honestly, between these two, they got what they want, I think. LG first picking the Athena for Geno. It's something that he always goes to. But teams are kind of figuring out this strategy. It's very easy to disrupt the flow of the dash taunts. You're looking for any sort of damage and looking for the Serqet yet again. Scream having a wonderful performance in game number 1. Could see the same exact action in game number 2. I think where the strength really lied was Cerberus in game number 1, and that was taken away from him.
Now, going to have to try and find some other way to win without that one, as they do have the double Hunter composition here between the Medusa and the Chiron. Also got the Aphrodite last picked in there to add a little bit of spice. Is that enough to win you over to vote for eUnited, or you think LG can force a game 3? Go ahead and vote for us in the Mixer poll. Let us know what you think.
Between number 1 versus number 6, I think they definitely play to their position currently, but I think that LG still has something to be desired. The way they were able to play in their previous sets this week and a little bit of the last week, they had some signs of greatness. They just need to close out and figure out a way to actually win some of these sets, because they're all very talented players.
And it is going to be the Medusa that's in the mid lane here for Venenu. PandaCat will be playing this Chiron going up against Geno and Clout. It could potentially be strong against the Athena if it is PolarBearMike. That's the one that's getting taunted in.
Definitely could be a bad situation. But the thing is, Clout playing the Artemis has the advantage if he connects on these basic attacks. Needs a little bit of lady luck by his side. As long as Geno can intercept the attacks from PandaCat, they should be LG's lane to win. But they're not playing as though they want to win this lane. They're just conceding it to get the experience for PBM and PandaCat. And keep in mind, every time PandaCat uses an ability on the Chiron, those medicinal herb passive is going to heal up the Cerberus.
Going to make it even easier for them to grab this lane. Remember, this is what they did in game 1, is that they had to move away from the lane and go right towards clearing their buff. So it means they're going to get red and purple. They're going to miss out on this wave farm, of course, but now United can go back and grab their own buffs. Last time they had the Artemis crits to help them clear quickly enough, though, that there was no way for LG to come and contest their own purple.
That's true, but this time around, it's LG getting to the lane themselves first. Could look for that purple buff in vain, but instead, taking a little bit of long time to clear that one out. KikiSoCheeky piloting his Agni, rushing the Talon's Trinket, trying to get that damage online. Kind of a signature Paul-esque style, but getting more and more popular recently.
That's right. We've seen this build kind of rising up a little bit, foregoing the Mage's Blessing, and of course eUnited foregoing the Mage entirely, having Venenu there on the Medusa. Now there is an Aphrodite over in solo to keep it even, but not the traditional start that we had been seeing from either one of our mid players.
Now, it's definitely true that lacking a Mage definitely hurts you, but Medusa's scaling on all of her abilities is very strong and to be respected, which allows her to rush for the Transcendence and these little early jungle skirmish fights in these little corridors. That Petrify is going to be so valuable. We're always talking about Chang'e, and what makes her so valuable, it's those team fights.
A nice knockback from PandaCat, forces out the sprint from Clout. A little bit of trouble for Geno there as well, as PandaCat focuses more on the wave than on the attack. But to go back to this Medusa in the mid lane, totally, I think you're right. She's one of the hunters that covers the gap of not having a mage in the best ways, because what mages bring for you really more often is AoE, and Medusa can hit that with the Acid Spray, can do that with the Petrify, as Clout takes way more damage than he meant to and gets deleted in the duo lane.
It's all about PBM on the Cerberus. The Ghastly Breath slows you down for just too long. The sprint from Geno was used in the earlier little skirmish beads, was just not enough to really get him into safety. And just like that, eUnited first blood onto PandaCat. Yes, please. Let's finish off those Devil Gloves right away.
Scream is going to come for the invade on this speed buff, which means that now keegsmate's got to come respond to this. Death Bane is going to be enough for him to strip it away. Ambush to get away from the Flame Wave. And the Cobra's Kiss so he can disengage. Now Venenu going to take the 2v1 fight with Keegs very low. Weaken, taking shots as well. Venenu very comfortable here. Doesn't even want to let them back.
Wow, Venenu doing a great job punishing LG and allow Scream to get away from this.
Oh, look at nice guy Benji coming over and getting some healing going as well. So that's just working out perfectly. Scream doesn't even have to back just yet if he doesn't want to. Now Kiki's coming over to try and defend the buff, but he doesn't appear to make it there in time either. Benji picks the blue buff up.
It's all invades coming out from eUnited. LG have no answers currently, and this is a little untraditional for a mage to be having this kind of advantage, but because Weaken got invaded on, he can't really assist the soul lane. He's looking for farm on the left side of the map, giving so much freedom for Scream to transition and help this Aphrodite get away from the early laning phase, because it was actually Kiki that backed first for the Shoes of Focus, so he should easily win this 1v1.
And don't forget, Unbox is notoriously weaker without that ultimate, unlike Screammmmm, who's going to have the Cobra's Kiss, such a powerful pre-level 5 tool. That's part of what makes the gank so potent from Serqet, even without the last breath. And you saw it give some great control. That's how he escaped when keegsmate made the rotation to the speed buff. He hit them both at Cobra's Kiss and was able to get on out of there.
And keegsmate is just doing a good job surviving thus far, but still lacking in the level department. It was Venenu that hits level 5 first, has the ninja tab by good little trap, preventing PBM from getting closer, but the ultimate is switching targets onto Clout. What a stun!
And that's going to set up for PolarBearMike to look for a little bit more damage, but Clout just barely survives. Either way, they already forced the sprint from Geno, and the beads were on cooldown anyway. So they are continually pressuring out this dual lane of LG, are PolarBearMike and PandaCat.
It's looking really good already for eUnited, who won very dominant fashion in game number 1. I think it was like 17-3, about 24 minutes into this game. And
very fast.
On the decent same path, as they do have a little bit of a almost 1,500 goal lead. It's about how they keep extending it, right? And that's the goal for eUnited. They understand these little nuances and how to extend it, and that's why they're going for another speed buff invade with Weekend only being level 4. No fear, no evil to worry about.
Well, Screammmmm still considering, even with 3 members here going for this speed buff, this man's insane. Does come in with the auto attack and Deathbane. Fear no evil is too late from Weekend. Screammmmm able to make it out. Oh no.
It's not really his fault because Weekend just hits level 5 off of the 50-50 dice roll to get the speed buff. It takes time for you to level the ability and then use it.
Yeah.
Whereas already Screammmmm is getting out of there after not securing the speed buff.
Now Clout does have the beads available if he needs them. Great trap to slow down PandaCat, so he will survive. But you're exactly right. It's not as if Weekend himself was too late using the ultimate. He got the ultimate too late to be able to catch out Screammmmm, who, all credit to him, immediately evacuates from that situation once he realizes he does not get the buff.
As he should. There was just nothing else for him to do. He could have committed the last breath onto Weekend to look for the kill, but his life is way more valuable than Weekend's life. He needs to go back to his own base, get his own speed buff, and if Screammmmm dies there, that would give Weekend some more momentum to potentially look for the counter invade on Screammm's speed, so not wanting to give that up.
Now of note, PandaCat did have to use his beads, it looks like, in that last engagement. It was Clout who's the one that dropped that board and was able to get the stun out on him. So PandaCat won't have those available. Should make life a little bit easier for this Artemis in the dual lane to potentially look for him. Now, obviously, the ultimate does make him CC immune, but he's CC'd in a whole other way, kind of slow in that ultimate. So we'll see what Clout might be able to do with that advantage.
But there's no advantage in the stacking department because PandaCat not only completed the Devil Gloves first, but it's already 23 stacks ahead. That's 4 waves worth. And every wave worth 6 minions. Every wave comes 30 seconds. You're looking at a 2-minute differential of the stacking department.
And is almost done with the Hunter's Blessing as well. You're exactly right to point out that stacking differential, which very much favors PandaCat at this point in the game. Even tower health as the minions get pushed in, but a big grouping from eUnited. I think they want to be here for the speed buff invade again. Catching out Geno, making the rotation. Benji gets in some good damage. PolarBearMike on the way. Fear no evil. Comes out a little bit early from Weekend. Now they don't have their big team fighting ultimate, and speed buff can be looked at.
Oh, PBM's even here. Solo lane Benji was there before
Wow.
Kiki. Kiki trying to make something happen, but look at this meditation from Benji being able to really make the impact alongside his Aphrodite heals. Venenu forcing out the dash defensively from keegsmate, and he's not in position to assist with any bombs.
He doesn't have beads available any longer either. Does keegsmate? Those were forced out. But wow, a 7-minute 4-man rotation to your speed buff. How do you keep your head right? Let me just get my buff, man. Their whole team's here. There's got to be a way to punish this, is what you're thinking. But eUnited do it so cleanly. They force everyone from LG back in that they're okay. But this taunt to Agni Bombs, that's pretty good.
Venenu in a little bit of trouble, but without the Fear No Evil, Weekend can't really do much. Kiki on the other side trying to get something going, but he's going to fall down to Screammmmm. Weekend with a great play, but then Screammmmm on the opposite side doing the same.
They are able to make that a 1-for-1. Solo laner goes down on Luminosity for the mid laner for eUnited as Venenu ends up taking a spill. And Weekend very much needed to get the kill credit for that one. He'd been struggling just a little bit behind Screammmmm, having his speed buff repeatedly invaded. Anything to help catch him back up is going to be good.
It's definitely a good possibility for him to get back into this game because of the way how the first game kind of went. It was not a great performance from Weekend. playing Hunt Bats is not his traditional style, but it's something that he has a decent amount of experience with, and a great god to still make plays from behind.
But that's the dash there from Geno. Use it aggressively. So PolarBearMike being there makes that an easy kill. Benji looking for the 2v1. The auto only did 24 in Weekend. Is running for his life. Is going to make it back to the tier 1, but PandaCat finds the double kill, takes down Clout. It's bad everywhere.
eUnited winning on the left and surviving and winning on the right. Benji level 10 Aphrodite, 2 levels ahead of his competition, 3 levels ahead of Weekend, was able to not only survive but also almost able to return the favor, punishing Weekend, saying, how dare you come into my lane.
Well, does have the Whirlwind of Rage, and Steel Undying Love will get Benji away, but Kiki is not done looking for this yet. I think Benji is coming for the blue even with all this danger around him.
What a bait. Benji is like, I don't care. Yeah, I'll use my ulti.
He clearly doesn't. But I mean, if he doesn't go for the blue, he might not have to use meditation, but clearly he's comfortable using it to make sure he picks up that blue buff, which is more important, and going to be able to make it back to lane here to try and defend as PolarBearMike goes aggressive.
It's a 120-second cooldown versus about a 200-second teleport cooldown. Knowing that 80-second differential means that there's a lot of defensive opportunities for Benji. Even when he is low on mana, it's a great bait tactic that you can force your enemies out of position. If Scream was there by the blue buff, Kiki's dead guaranteed.
Clout in some trouble. PandaCat comes to cut off the escape path. Nowhere for the Hunter to go. Another kill for PandaCat, who's 4-0-0. This Chiron in the duo lane, it has been devastating for LG.
And unfortunately for Clout, his ultimate not available to save him for that CC immunity, so he just holds on to his beads. Even if he did use it, the amount of DPS PandaCat has will be able to chase him down. And even if it was Clout getting under the safety of his tier 2 tower, PandaCat would just use that ultimate to get the long-range artillery shots off.
Stygian Torment does pull Geno back towards PandaCat. Fear no evil to control PolarBearMike, but the shell comes out. He does use the monkey to bounce back towards PandaCat. Defender of Olympus won't land for damage, but now Scream is here. Cobra's Kiss gives a kill over to PandaCat. Scream falls in trade, ends up being 1-for-1.
Oh, there's Kiki with a nice ultimate onto PBM, really punishing the transgressions from eUnited. Scream even tower diving that tier 2 Venenu with a stun onto Keeks, but he didn't have the follow-up. Forces the beads from the mid laner, still gets off a decent amount of damage, forcing the back and still gonna have that experience differential that he really wants.
Well, that does mean, though, that the Petrify was enough to get the beads from Keeks, even though they did not get the life. He'll be an easier target for them next time. No sprint available for another minute for Geno, and Venenu and PandaCat perfectly bouncing the Gold Fury between them will be able to extend that gold lead out even further, which has ballooned up early here. 7,000 experience, 9,000 gold. Don't let only a 3-kill differential distract you from the tremendous lead eUnited have built up.
Now, last game, about the 20-minute mark, I think it was eUnited that had a 14,000 gold lead or something like that, and I was saying how that's like code red, where you're calling the government to help you out at that point. keegsmate trying to go for this tower damage off, bombs coming through, able to jump over the second one for Scream to survive, and that's still a good mentality for Keeks to have, knowing when you're in a position of aggressiveness. Like, yes, you're behind, but just because you're behind 2 levels of Venenu doesn't mean you're out of the game, doesn't mean you can't force your way back into it, punishing Scream, maybe at least forcing him to back.
Scream is building into some early defensive options here as Weekend drops the Fear No Evil. Venenu finds Keegs in the mid lane, and Geno could be in some trouble as well as Petrify comes out, but so is Weekend. He gets knocked back by the Chiron and able to find the kill easy. A masterful shot comes out there from PandaCat as he starts to push down the tier 2.
A great giddy up, just really displaces Weekend, can't get anything going. Kiki, thinking about getting tower though, potentially uses that ultimate, holding on is Benji and also PBM under that tier 2 tower. Defender of Olympus on top. It's a level 8 Athena. Not much to say about that one because Venenu is joining the party.
They've got him looping around the backside. That's all they need to take down Geno. Tier 2 tower does not deter a team with an Aphrodite, and KikiSoCheeky is in a whole lot of trouble as well. Does have the leap available, but only leads him right back to the autos coming out from Venenu, and another kill that he shall secure. Tier 2 tower is now in a lot of trouble. 10-3 up in the kills, and up about 9,000 gold.
This is getting worse and worse for LG. The bottom-seeded team up against the top-seeded team, and definitely looking like it. Because eUnited is a team that seems to, at least in Season 5, start off slow and then end with a fiery bang. They're definitely focused for this Masters land. They don't want to give anything up here.
And there's been some talk you know, that maybe eUnited kind of got hot at the right time at the end of the last season, or maybe that they weren't really the strongest team. They were just the team that won that one tournament. But I think eUnited are here to show you that that's not so much a fluke. It wasn't so much that they just kind of got hot at the right time. I mean, look how cleanly this team is performing. They look like world beaters, and Venenu with the ultimate in mid lane setting up for PolarBearMike, finding a double kill. They're showing you right here.
Wow, Geno tried to set up the offensive play to Keeks, but PBM wasn't interested in that. He's not going to save his mid laner's life because guess what? Veneno just uses the Petrified to prevent the taunt. Anyway, Benji just casually tanking the tier 2 tower.
It's Rada, Tahuti, and Sunder?
Yeah.
Is that what Benji's doing? Is that where we are? Totally?
Finch, they're up so much gold. You're telling me you never decided, hey, we're up 12,000 gold. What kind of relic can I go?
I've also never been in the SPL. It's Benji, man. My man is doing whatever he wants at this point in the game. I mean, clearly, it feels unthreatened by this LG roster as KikiSoCheeky level 12, 3 levels down behind this Aphrodite. And the Rod of a Sleepiest, it's so much power that comes from this Rod of Tahuti. It's a ton of healing that he'll be able to get because it just does more when you have more power. Kiki wants to try and come defend this Fire Giant, but they're instead turning their attention towards the fight. PandaCat has now arrived as PBM gets thrown away.
Everyone is going on a roller coaster ride of emotions. One drops from LG, second's going to be Kiki, third is going to be Keeks, and back to the Fire Giant. eUnited goes. Weekend using that ultimate defensively. Can't get into the fray of that one. Forced to go run away. Trying to get any farm, man. 4 levels behind. Scream. Make that 5 as the Serqet hits level 15. Not a good look for LG's jungler.
Not at all. eUnited kind of doing whatever they please at this point. They won that fight 3-0, and they're looking to start threatening Phoenixes already. We're 15.5 minutes into this game. In fact, PandaCat not even feeling the need to group up. They've got 2 hunters. Venenu can be the one to pressure the mid-Phoenix, and PandaCat can be a dual threat over here on the Phoenix and solo lane. Mid-Phoenix comes tumbling down 15 minutes, 37 seconds into the match, and LG can't even set up a defense for the Phoenix over here in solo. That's 2 already, and they're moving into the Titan room.
You might as well try to go for it, because Weekend was split pushing all the way to the left side, trying to bait out some defensive relics, trying to bait out some ultimates. Geno gets a nice double top, but here comes the follow-up.
The bombs do land. Benji taking a whole lot of damage. The Titan still does damage to Benji, even if nothing else does. Kiki jumping in aggressively, but Scream is going to track him down. Venenu gets credit for that kill. keegsmate, only level 12, has to dash back to the tower. Now comes in Clout. He does find the kill onto Benji. They've been forced back for the moment, but Scream able to return the favor.
Oh, without Benji, this makes it a lot more difficult. Even though you do kill Weekend, without the sustain, these cooldowns of the respawn timers are very short from LG. They could still come back into the action and defend their Titan. eUnited getting a little bit ahead of themselves. They thought they had the prize at the end of the rainbow, but they need to take a quick reset.
Okay. eUnited got to put the brakes on. I know that they've been out in front, but they can't quite take a 15-mitten Titan, at least not yet. Geno, though, is going to end up falling to the pressure that comes out from PolarBearMike along with PandaCat. PolarBearMike, though, certainly could pay for this one with his life, and Kiki gets the damage over time, and that's enough to find the kill. But eUnited, 19 kills, yes. A tremendous gold lead, yes. Not quite enough to take the Titan, yes, yet.
They wanted to set a record for at least Season 5 Summer Split. Not going to find it in this game. Need to kind of recollect themselves and figure out the proper way to close out an SPL game. You know, get every single tower, get every single Phoenix, or at least get an official deicide before going in. Because yes, even though they do have a crazy amount of experience advantage, there's still a lot of cooldowns for LG to try to make something happen. PandaCat wanted that red buff really badly.
Blinking for it. Not exclusive just to his Artemis. Even on the Chiron, he'll blink ult. But let's go through and talk about some of these interesting items. We already covered the Rod, Tahuti, and the Sunder for Benji. Malice now has been selected for Scream in the 4th slot. We don't see that very often. Gem of Isolation comes in for PolarBearMike. I mean, clearly ahead, and eUnited going a little bit different with their build paths.
They're feeling themselves. Kiki can't even survive long enough to get the ultimate off. Running away is keegsmate. Defensive ultimate from Weekend, not enough. The damage over time is good from 1. Needs a little bit more setup damage, but Weekend still running. Clout needs to do something. I'm surprised he doesn't use his ultimate earlier while they're in the Titan room.
Even with all those autos coming out from Clout, eUnited are undeterred. They haven't even gone to push down duo. They want to try and end this game as soon as they can. eUnited are 4-member strong. PolarBearMike making his way in. Benji going to be the first one. Can't find the kiss, but can sustain. Venenu taking some shots, but they don't have minions just yet.
No minions quite yet, but with 2 dead members, it's a 5-on-3 for 5 seconds. PBM goes in with the ultimate, pulls in Geno. He's gone. Titan is actually already dead.
Titan's down below half HP. PandaCat still standing. Venenu finds another kill. They're dropping bombs in the fountain, but it's not enough. They come grab keegsmate as well, and they're trying to keep the Titan standing, but it's just not enough. 18 minutes, 45 seconds. eUnited put on a dominant performance.
Little mini game within a game where eUnited wants more kills because they know they had that victory in their just whole paperwork.
Yeah, that one just got a little bit too out of hand. Even, I said the last game got out of the hand when it ended in 23 minutes, but this one ended pretty quickly as well. eUnited putting on a great show here in this game, and it's tough to try and find an MVP for this one, but everyone on the squad played so well. Scream constantly moving around the map, finding pressure. Benji on this Aphrodite felt very, very comfortable, clearly at this point. Even PolarBearMike, I would say, had some highlight reel play.
That's true. It was Benji surviving that 1v2 gank,
Yes.
almost killing Weekend in the return process. Wonderful performance by Venenu, being able to help Scream consistently invade against Weekend. That level 5 versus 4 play, the fact that Scream forces out the ultimate defensively, still gets away. It was just the constant shutdown Weekend game, and eUnited succeeded.
And give some credit to PandaCat. I believe he started off, what, 4-0-0 over there in the Hunter role, directly against Clout, able to really just control that duo lane too. There's a lot of good choices to pick from, so we'll let the desk talk about him at length.
18 minutes? My bit last time was, oh boy, this was short. Well, guess what? Oh boy, this was short. Really quick set coming out here. Total time under 40. Really impressive coming out from the defending world champions.
There was just so many different invades that occurred during that early game stage, and that's kind of the pressure that was able to be provided because eUnited went for that double hunter composition. And these are 2 ability-based hunters as well, I would say, during those laning phases. So when you've got Medusa and Chiron pushing into your jungle alongside of Scream, it felt a little bit unusual to see eUnited playing that aggressive so early on. I think that we're more accustomed to seeing them kind of take their time with things, be a little bit more precision-based in the team fight spectrum, but then they just go all out on the buff invades and the jungle camps, and I really feel like that was just very hard for Luminosity to try and find a response to because they had low pressure over in that solo lane.
Yeah, I mean that was the intention of this eUnited squad. I say 18 minutes, and while I'm surprised it was 18 minutes, I'm not surprised it was over quickly because that's what this composition is drawn up and drafted to do. I mean, Chiron, I am a little surprised to see it in the hands of PandaCat, but at the end of the day, the middle lane Medusa just a little bit more interesting. So we're talking a lot about these hunters, but this is actually a very interesting scenario. This just in, our MVP is most valuable plural. It's both Scream and Benji. We're going to give them both their spot in their time in the spotlight. Folks, this was a tie. Don't forget, you guys vote for our MVP. And it's tied between the jungler and the solo.
Hey, keep in mind, though, these 2 were linked for the entire game, so they almost have to go hand in hand because you can't have one without the other. Benji putting in so much work to make sure that everybody on his team could stay alive. This Aphrodite just so problematic. And by the time that Luminosity really started trying to have some return engagements, it was just too little too late.
Ooh.
The lead from eUnited was just way too drastic by then, and we just got a little taste of what that burst damage looked like.
That back off, people. I've been saying it since she got picked at first. That back off does a ton of damage. You add with the itemization, just incredible stuff. And people also always forget about the stun. When Aphrodite stuns you and she's linked to somebody, that somebody does 10% extra damage.
It doesn't feel good. And if you don't believe me, you can probably just ask Luminosity because they're the poor souls who had to experience that. But I mean, I can't say that this has been like a terrible situation for Luminosity to be in. I think that most of the public was probably under the impression that they were going to end up dropping this set against eUnited.
Probably.
I think that this was just eUnited not messing around because before, I think if this was a spring split, we see a game 3 here between these 2 teams. I firmly believe that eUnited would have definitely lost at least one match to these guys, but in the summer split, they have made sure the mistakes are not happening anymore. They've been so consistent and clean with their gameplay that it's no surprise seeing them in the top 2.
Really impressive watching this all go down. So again, eUnited take the 2-0 victory above LG. Earlier, we saw another 2-0 go the way of Space Station Gaming. Counterlogic not able to stand up. Of note, Trifecta also beat Counterlogic Gaming earlier during the week. And unfortunately, yesterday we weren't able to air the games, but we certainly did play them. Team Dignitas lose 2-0 to Energy. We actually, thanks to Emilzy, got to watch that. We actually have that on some other channels. And then Rival versus Mouse. This one goes 2-0. And again, Mouse kind of get stomped a little bit there. Because of all the action that we've had throughout the week, United still sitting pretty at number 1 and Space Station number 2. Over in Europe, Energy and Rival make up 1 and 2.
But just look at that rat race between Europe. I mean, you've got Dignitas right on the cusp of overtaking Rival. Yeah. Had they not lost that set to Energy, it'd actually be them sitting pretty at the top there, but Energy still leading by 3 games also.
Mouse, and I love the way that you use the rat race because Mouse realistically are in this race. I mean, are they going to be number 1? I don't think so. But that Team Rival number 2 spot, Dignitas, Obey, and Mouse all are within striking distance. Real talk, I think Mouse is better than Obey right now. This is a scary set for Europe. This is a scary next 2 weeks for Europe for sure. 5 and 6 have yet to come, so very exciting to watch out what's going to be going on. Next week, we start off with Rival Energy, United and Counterlogic Gaming on our mix and match. And yeah, Mouse taking on Dig. That's going to be it's going to be a really rough one, Taco, but I'm hoping for Cherio in all honesty.
I'm seeing a lot of possible best of 3 situations lining up here in this upcoming schedule. Week 5, I mean, there is no time to mess around any longer. If you want to solidify yourself in those top 2 positions, you have to find the set wins. And that's the case here. I mean, between Rival and Energy, only one can come out on top there, truly. So whoever ends up dropping it, that's going to be Team Dignitas' opening to try and overcome back into those top 2.
Yep, it's going to be a tough one for some teams. And, well, it's going to be tough for everybody, even the ones at the top, I think, in all honesty. Just going to be a lot of fun to watch overall. Let's zoom out real quick and take a look at what's going on through the entirety throughout the summer. Like I said, we've got about 2 more weeks of the Pro League, Week 5 and Week 6. That happens Monday through Friday. You're able to see all of that action at 3 p.m. Monday, though, that's a big deal, Taco. I love to bring this up. I'm glad it's in red because it's important. Show up in the morning. If I got to be there, you do. Nah, jokes aside, we have a ton of fun on there. You get to see Taco give her predictions, and sometimes they're right.
Yeah, my 25% chance of being correct on my picks for the teams of the week. Aggro's still probably in the lead, but we're all steadily catching up. You know, it's what was it? It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Okay, yeah, that's how I was like, what do you...
I'm going to rip that from Emilzy, okay? That's how I'm looking at this for the Esports Weekly show, man.
Well, it is a marathon for us and the players all throughout the year. We get to see these guys compete. Rival take the victory in the springtime, in the summer victory. Who knows what who will wind up there? That's going to be July 25th, of course, after we finish 2 more weeks of play. Then we take a break. We hollow at the All-Stars, and then fall split. We're back at it again in August.
And everybody's going to be amping up by the fall split. If you think that stuff is serious right now, just wait until the SWC starts being on the line. That's when we're really going to start seeing some massive changes coming through, I think, in a lot of players, not just in their style of how they choose to approach their matches, but also just the tension in general is bound to rise. Yeah,
I was talking to Trix Tank before, and he was just like, look, not that we don't try during the spring and summer, but fall time is when everything is against the line because the players have to go through the gauntlet to get there. Not the actual gauntlet. They just have to go through a trials and tribulations to get to SWC. All you got to do is go online. hi-rezexpo.com. Get your tickets. November 16th through the 18th is when we're going to be active there. Smite, Paladins, probably even some other things going on as far as hi-rez is concerned. And of course, it's DreamHack, baby. So there's tons of other esport action going on as well.
And there will be plenty for you guys to come and experience over here in the heart of Atlanta, as you like to call it. And
Hell yeah, it's
there's
downtown.
Definitely a lot to see, though. It can be a lot of fun, especially getting to just meet other people with the same interests.
Yeah, it's a boatload of fun. HRX is always fun because you get to get close to people like us and people like the players and everything. It's all that and more. And a bag of chips. It's been a ton of fun. Really excited to look towards week number 5 for myself, Taco, everybody you do see and everybody you don't. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next week.